The JAL 23 regular season is now roughly halfway over after the latest game day, which occurred on Sunday, May 15th. The day began with a Fog Bison doubleheader, followed by a Cobras underdogs doubleheader. At first there was some mild drizzling, but by the second Fog Bison game, heavy showers began to fall that the players had to endure. Coming into the game day, the biggest storyline was Evan Bates and his ability to pitch again, coming off of an injury that kept him out of the circle for almost a year. These games were not only his first time back in the circle since then, but also his first time pitching for the underdogs. As we will see, he performed very well, but ironically, he probably made an even bigger mark on the day by what he did with the bat. And speaking of heavy hitting, let's begin with Game 1 of Bison versus Fog. Of course, the big clash here was Brandon Merriweather, the league's best pitcher, taking on the Fog, the league's best statistical lineup thus far in JL 23. In the top of the first, Merriweather gives up one on walks, but the Bison lineup gets it back. In the bottom half, Chris Vasilev with a double, and then he flies out here to end the inning. Sean McFarland making a nice running catch. Second inning, Merriweather gets a couple of early strikeouts, one as we see here, but then his command starts to fall apart and walks in several runs. Fog able to build a little bit of a lead. Then at the end of the inning, Brett Hoover, the Fog rookie, steps up and hits a 2-run double, making it 7-2. In the bottom of the second, Chase Johnson gives up a leadoff single to Merriweather, but gets out of the inning with only 1 run scored. Third inning, Merriweather's command still shaky, and the runs are starting to pile up. Then Sean McFarland hits a grand slam. The Fog have 16 runs in the third on Brandon Merriweather. This is uncharted territory for the Bison, so there's only one thing to do now: start getting hits, and Merriweather does so. There's a home run that cuts the lead back down to 10, and then Chris Vasilev going to drive in that runner on first with a triple here. They get the lead down to 7. In the fourth, it's 16-9. Merriweather gets a couple of strikeouts before giving up any runs, but then Chase Johnson gets up to the plate and gets himself a double here to score a couple more. They get 3 on the inning. In the bottom of the fourth, Bison got to find a way to keep scoring. Chris Vasilev, there's a triple. And then Merriweather, a single. Could have had more, but it ricocheted off the ball bin. Bison getting some hits, but not getting enough runs. Chase Johnson gets out of the inning with only 1 run allowed. Fog now have a 9-run lead in the 5th. They've been in control of this game since the second, but now they're going to turn it into a rout at the end. There's a double by Chase Johnson, and then Brett Hoover gets a grand slam. This thing ends 12-25. Yes, Brandon Merriweather, the back-to-back reigning MVP and pitching crown winner, gives up 25 runs, 6 hits, 2 bombs. And get this, the last time he gave up double digits in a game was opening day of JAL 21. Offensively, though, Merriweather did bat extremely well. He had 6 hits on 9 at-bats, 2 triples, a homer, 7 RBIs. Vasilev also got 4 hits, 3 triples, and made 3 stops defensively. He contributed, did his part. On the Fog side, Brett Hoover, 3 of 8, a double, a homer, 11 RBIs. Chase Johnson had 2 doubles. Sean McFarland chipped in that grand slam. Fielding-wise, Sean McFarland was also really good with a pair of fielding outs and a stop. Chase Johnson wasn't amazing in the pitching circle, but he did do a nice job sort of just being a game manager in that position. Gave up several hits, but kept the walks down. Ultimately, the Fog kind of dominated this game from the second inning on, even though the stats don't necessarily indicate it, which makes it even more impressive. In the second game of the doubleheader, though, would the Fog be able to duplicate this success against Brandon Merriweather, or would he come storming back and shut them down? In the first inning, both defenses start well. Chase Johnson working the fastball and Sean McFarland picking up a fielding out there. Brandon gives up one on walks in his turn, but overall looking a lot better to start the game. In the second inning, Chase allows a few freebies before getting out of it, and the Bison lead 4-1. In the bottom of the second, just like the first game, the Fog Bats start to impose their will over Brandon Merriweather with a flurry of hits. There's a bases clearing triple from Chase Johnson, and then later in the inning, a double that scores two more. They lead 10-4 going into the third, and now the rain showers start to pour down. But Chase Johnson's not going to let it affect him too much. He gives up one run in the inning, but that's all. In the bottom of the third, Fog now looking to build another big lead like they did in the first game. This is another double from Chase Johnson. By the time Brandon Merriweather gets out of the third inning, the Fog leads 16-5. In the fourth inning, Bison gonna have to try to get hot with the bat again, but this time Chase Johnson's not going to allow it. No runs scored for them in the fourth inning. In the fifth inning, Chase is going to get some help from teammate Sean McFarland to close this thing out with two fielding outs, continuing to build himself a strong resume for a potential fielding crown award. Brandon Merriweather gets himself a double at the end of the inning. The Bison end up scoring a few runs, but the Fog win this one and sweep the doubleheader. Chase Johnson was the star of this game on both sides of the ball. He had 4 hits on 7 at-bats, 2 doubles, a triple, 9 RBIs. Pitching-wise, he had much more of a presence in this one. Only single-digit runs allowed and 1 hit allowed. Overall, the results of this doubleheader were shocking because very few people expected the Fog could win both games, much less win them comfortably in the manner that they did. They are now the only undefeated team left in the league at 4-0. Meanwhile, the Bison are now 2-2. It's going to be extremely difficult for them to get the NC number 1 seed for a 3rd consecutive season. Frankly, they may have their hands full just getting into the playoffs because another team has emerged into the hunt, that being the underdogs. In the first inning of the second doubleheader, the U-Dogs jump on the Cobras early. Here's Brock Johnson ripping a grand slam. U-Dogs get 10 runs, and then Evan Bates blows through his former team in the bottom half. In the second inning, they continue to pour in the runs. Here's Evan Bates with a 3-run homer, and then the Cobras failing to help themselves out. Here's rookie Danner Matthews popping up, but Keegan Hammer drops the catch. U-Dogs max out the run limit again in the second, scoring 20 off this hit from Brock Johnson. It's only the bottom of the second, but this game feels so far out of reach already. The Cobras offense, which has been horrible so far this season, continues to be as such. In the third inning, Keegan Hammer finds some composure and gets out of it with only 1 run allowed. Here he is catching a fly ball, and then the inning ends with Evan Bates not being able to hit the ball quite to the single line. In the bottom of the third, New York scores 1 run, but Evan Bates is just too much for the Cobras. Look at this sinker. Completely fools me there with that one. Fourth inning now, Evan Bates. He's going to go deep again for a grand slam, juicing the lead up even more. And then Brock Johnson thinks he has a home run here, but Ethan Erickson's going to do a nice job of towing the home run line and making the catch to get out of the inning. In the fifth, Bates annihilates another home run. And then in the bottom half, the Cobras offense just so desperate, they're going to try to steal a runner from second over to third, which they're able to do so because Brock Johnson makes a terrible throw. And then I'm able to break up Evan's no-hitter with a double there that scores a run. This one ends 28-2. It was a total beatdown. Evan Bates and Brock Johnson absolutely crushed the ball. Bates 10 hits, 2 doubles, 3 homers, 14 RBIs. Brock 5 hits, a double, a triple, and a homer. He hit the cycle. And then Bates' pitching was fantastic. 2 runs allowed, 1 hit allowed. For him to throw like that coming off of an injury and having not pitched in the JL for almost a year was pretty amazing. The only thing the Cobras could be proud of in this game was the fact that I broke up Evan's no-hitter in the 5th. And the fielding effort was solid, although there was a couple of errors made by both Erickson and Hammer. The good news for the Cobras coming off of this beatdown was that it was a doubleheader and they'd get a chance to redeem themselves in the second game. The bad news is the result could easily be the same. And that's exactly what happened. In the top of the first inning, after a strikeout by me, there's bases loaded and 2 outs. The Cobras decide to try to steal the run in. Ethan Erickson does so successfully after a somewhat bad throw by Brock Johnson that hit the ball bin. But the Cobras' 1-0 lead does not last for long. Here's Brock Johnson hitting a grand slam, and then later in the inning, Evan Bates does the same. The U-Dogs score 10 in the first inning once again. In the second inning, the Cobras get 1 run on walks, but it's not much of a threat. Here's Evan Bates striking me out and then having a little fun doing a sword imitation. In the bottom of the second, Evan Bates goes deep again. Frustration for Hammer boiling over, shrugging his shoulders. Later in the inning, the Cobras have 2 outs and a chance to get out of the inning, but Erickson drops the deep fly ball and it bounces off his fingers past the home run line. A couple plays later, Hammer closes the frame with a nice screwball. In the third inning, Bates decides to start messing around with his rise ball, and look at this pitch in slow motion. Beautiful stuff. In the bottom of the third, Bates homers yet again. This one a no doubt moonshot. Later in the inning, he almost decapitates Keegan Hammer with this bases clearing triple. Look at how close that was to hitting him square in the forehead. Brock Johnson gets a grand slam later to get 30 on the board for the Underdogs. The max runs for the third inning. In the fourth, Bates offers Keegan Hammer a cheese ball that he hits a home run on as an act of goodwill for all the terrorizing he's done in this doubleheader, but he keeps it up in the bottom of the fourth with yet another home run here. And then this grand slam. How does he get this one to go out? He goes reaching for it down low and away and still gets it to fly all the way past the home run line. In the fifth and final inning, Bates continues to work the rise ball and close this thing out. Final score 35-6. Underdogs win with 5 touchdowns compared to the Cobras' 2 field goals. Bates has another 10-hit game, but the biggest stat of them all is his 7 home runs. That's a new single-game record in JAL history. Brock Johnson also went 5 of 9 with 3 home runs of his own, but it pales in comparison to what Bates did. Pitching-wise, Bates wasn't quite as sharp in terms of the fact that he walked in more runs in this game, but 6 runs allowed in a JL game is still extremely good, especially this season. For the Cobras, there's nothing to be proud of. Keegan Hammer has had a regressing second season as the team's ace, yet somehow the batting lineup is an even bigger issue with their inability to manufacture any production. Even Ethan Erickson, the most decorated fielder in league history, has committed 3 errors already this season. There's absolutely nothing going right for the Cobras, who are now 0-4. So there you have it for the May 15th games. All 4 of them were blowouts, but that's the way it goes sometimes. This has been Game Day's Best. I'm Commissioner Cale Johnson. We'll see you next time.